What is going on? Week 1 rapid reaction episode. I am going to dive into game by game and just give you a little tidbit, what I noticed, what I think moving forward, what have you. And I'm going to jump right in. Dallas at Philly. I thought that Dak Prescott, that was the first thing I noticed. He looked like he lost 10, 15 pounds. He looked in great shape. He's going to be airing it out. Lamb is still an elite top 3 wide receiver, in my opinion. A.J. Brown needs to get traded on the other side of the ball. We'd love to see him at Green Bay. I think that makes all the sense in the world. Buffalo, they could use him, and Baltimore. Those 3 places, wow. So buy low on A.J. Brown because it's going to be the Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley show. They won a Super Bowl doing it last year. Now their schedule is going to get different in terms of competitiveness. So they will, that's why I say A.J. Brown is a buy low, because he will be used more and more moving forward. And he is a very, very vocal wide receiver when he's not getting the rock. So he either stays, they use him more, or he's a great trade candidate if Philly decides to do so. Next game, Kansas City at the Chargers. Mahomes looked like he'd been hanging out with Dak Prescott. But he looked in great shape, 57 rush yards. Keep an eye on that. He had a great game. They need wide receiver help. I think it makes so much sense. Would love a reunion if they go and trade for Tyreek Hill. They need him. He needs them. It would be a perfect remarriage. On the other side of the ball, Chargers, Herbert looked in great shape. They were airing it out, which was surprising. Don't expect that every week because they're very game script. They're not playing the Chiefs every week. Hampton will be used a lot more. They want to run the ball, but it's good to know that Herbert, who has one of the best, if not the best arms in football, can air it out if needed in a high-scoring match. Keenan Allen, great flex play moving forward. Hopefully you picked him up when they signed him, but unfortunately he is going to cap Lad McConkey in terms of hit Lad McConkey's ceiling. So don't have wide receiver 1 expectations for McConkey moving forward. Next game, New York Giants at Washington. Guys, I want nothing to do with anybody on the Giants offense. I didn't in the offseason. I didn't want to get into it. I just wanted to focus on the positives. They have probably the worst offensive line in football. It doesn't matter who's behind center. They've named Wilson as the starter. Don't go buy Jackson Dart because you're hoping that it's going to turn. It doesn't matter who you put back there. That offensive line is atrocious. Malik Neighbors is going to get killed out there. He's the only weapon, which isn't a good thing for him on a low-scoring, low-power offense. It's a bad thing for him. Wan'Dale Robinson is a sneaky little PPR play, but other than that, no running game. I'm out on Tracy, out on Scatterboo, out on Neighbors. Gosh, I hope you didn't pay for him. On the other side of the ball, wow, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, rookie, loved him, pounded the table for him, but even like up to a week ago, their coaching staff was, saying that he was listed as the 4th on the depth chart, which you can't really pay too much attention to those, especially week 1. Right before the game, they announced a guy that was 2 spots ahead of him on the depth chart, and Chris Rodriguez, they named him a healthy scratch. JCM got in there, got a touchdown. He looked great. If he is somehow on waivers, he is without question your number 1 waiver wire ad. Debo looked great too, which kind of hurts McLaurin. I know McLaurin had a bad game. I don't want to recommend him being a buy low right now. Yeah, I guess you could buy low on him because better days are ahead, and he's just getting back into game shape. He missed the whole offseason, remember. But Debo looked great. Next game, Las Vegas at New England. I thought Geno Smith looked really good. It's a shame that Bowers went out. You got to monitor that. If he is out, pick up Michael Mayer. He might be somebody, if you have deep bench, go stash him. Mayer, decent play. He was getting on the field. He was getting looks. Remember, it's a new coaching staff. He was on the field in a lot of 2 tight end sets when Bowers was still on the field. But I like him, and obviously Jacoby Myers is the clear out-and-out wide receiver 1 on that team, which is a real interesting situation to monitor because he has requested a trade, and so he's kind of playing for himself right now, and I think Las Vegas needs to sign him. Jonty looked pretty good. He'll have better days ahead. He got in the end zone, but he's still going to be a stud. Other side of the ball, New England offense underwhelming. I'm high on New England's offense. They were underwhelming. Trevion Henderson and Drake May are buy low targets. It will get better moving forward. Next game, Arizona at New Orleans. Jeez. Trey Benson. Okay. Love me some Trey Benson. Super efficient. If he's on waivers, you gotta add him. It wasn't really a split. He looked better than Connor. He was way more efficient with his touches. He's younger. He's only in his second year. Love him moving forward. Loved him in the offseason. He was one of my guys I talked about with my bold predictions episode. Not a fan of Kyler Murray. I think I would sell high on Marvin Harrison Jr. if I can in a redraft league right now. I'm just not a fan of how Kyler Murray operates, and he's not going to be able to play against New Orleans every week. I would definitely sell high on Marvin Harrison Jr. On the other side of the ball, there's really not much to talk about. If you wanted to take a flyer on a streaming tight end, go and add Juwan Johnson, because they have a very underwhelming QB situation, but conservative approach. They rely on the tight end just to play it safe. Juwan Johnson is definitely a streaming tight end target. All the other options I'm completely out on. Kamara, if you have him, you're stuck with him. He will be a PPR guy, but I'm not excited about it. I don't find this team getting in the end zone often, or really much at all. And I would love to see Kamara in a change of scenery, but he's under a huge contract. I don't see that happening. Next game, Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Atlanta dealt with a bunch of injuries going into this game with wide receiver weapons, and now they're dealing with even more. Drake London is one to monitor. Really hope he gets back. He's a huge part of that offense. Michael Penix was a start of the week for me. Had 26 points. But how does that look moving forward when you don't know if London's playing? But I think they have a Monday night game coming up, so he's got a little bit extra time to get healthy. Mooney was named inactive before the game started. He's one to monitor. They need him back. In the meantime, Pitts, you can rely on Pitts. He had a great game, and they're going to need him. He's the only guy at the bar. You're going to need him. Bijan was unbelievable. Huge in the passing game. He didn't have a whole lot of rush yards, but he had a ton of catches, and you love that in PPR. Algier was used a little more than I'd like to, but hey, what are you going to do? 1A, 1B. Algier's somebody to pick up if he's on waivers. Tampa Bay, Egbuka. Wow. Right off the get, it made all the sense. No Godwin, all the talk all offseason. But again, he was a rookie. So even that was still a little bit surprising how much he was used. 23 PPR points. He's an absolute stud. He's probably way too expensive to make a move for right now. Chris Godwin might be. Why wouldn't he be a trade? Why wouldn't they think about trading him, Tampa Bay, once he's healthy? I know he's under contract, but people can make business decisions on that aspect. Egbuka, you can't keep off the field now. No chance. So if Godwin's coming in to play that role, might as well trade him to a contender. And better days will be ahead for Evans. And Bucky Irvin was decent, but he'll have better days. Okay, next game, Houston at the Rams. Here's the biggest take. Okay, I said it in the offseason. One of the biggest head-scratching moves in the offseason was Houston letting Laramie Tunsil go. Their elite offensive lineman, left tackle. Let him go to Washington. They have the worst offensive line in football, and it's not close, which means it sucks for Stroud. It sucks for Nico. They don't have a running game. Defenses are going to just be teeing up on Stroud. I don't see a bounce back happening unless they go and make a big trade for some protection for him, but I don't really see that happening. Shouldn't have let Tunsil go. It's going to be a rocky road for them moving forward, which sucks because I love Stroud. I was hoping for a bounce back, but it just doesn't make any sense. You don't have an offensive line and you don't have a running game. Defense, that's heaven for them. So while there will be better days ahead for Nico, and if you want to try and throw a buy low offer in for him, I would, but it's gonna be ugly. Okay, on the Rams side of the ball, my goodness, Puka Nacua, how many times does this guy get hit in the head? I thought they weren't allowed to do that. I don't even think a flag was thrown. This guy took so many hits straight to the head that game, but what a beast. He stayed in it. I mean, he is true. I was worried about Adams. No. It is the Puka Nacua show. Hopefully you have him. He is a PPR stud. He is an absolute game wrecker. Love him. Stafford, while he's healthy, and they're going to, listen, he's one to monitor throughout the season, but while he's on the field, Puka is an absolute PPR stud. And Kyron Williams, clear out and out running back one on that team, 82% of snaps. He's a great running back, reliable running back, one that you can rely on the rest of the season. Rely. Moving forward, Tennessee at Denver, ugly game for both offenses. It'll get better for Denver. Not sure if it will for Tennessee. Ridley was barely used. Cam Ward struggled in his debut, but again, that might be the best defense in football. Green Bay might have something to say about that now. But Bo Nix will be better. RJ Harvey, again, my guy, I pounded the table for, looked explosive, busted for a 50-yard run. Dobbins got in the end zone. They're going to be, they'll both be on the field a lot, but I just love Harvey for what he can do, that explosiveness that Dobbins does not have at all. Sutton is a touchdown monster. You can bank on him for a touchdown almost every game. Reliable, high-end wide receiver too. Next game, Carolina at Jacksonville. I was really excited about this one. Carolina came out and it was just a complete dud. Man, oh man, did Bryce Young struggle. And those were two of the worst defenses last season. Jacksonville's defense looked a lot better. Trevor Lawrence looked terrible. Bryce Young looked terrible. Travis Etienne, my start of the week, was awesome. And then after the game, surprisingly, they go and they trade Tank Bigsby, who going into this week was named as the co-starter with Etienne. He's gone. Etienne is going to eat the rest of the season. He looked unbelievably explosive. Get him in the open field. He made a comment during the offseason that Liam Cohen, the new head coach, is finding ways to get him in the open field. And as a result, look at what that means. Travis Hunter, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a hot take. Real quick, this is the last thing I'm about to say about Jacksonville. I was completely out on Brian Thomas Jr., where he was going, and with everybody else as high as he was in the offseason. I much prefer Travis Hunter. And I'm not saying Travis Hunter is like a much better wide receiver than Brian Thomas Jr. It's a fantasy show. Travis Hunter is a much better fit for Trevor Lawrence. Brian Thomas Jr. got all of his action and credentials last season in fantasy with Mac Jones. The connection, Trevor Lawrence is not nearly good enough of a QB or a fantasy QB to have two top wide receiver options. He's just not good, guys. He's not a good QB. I'm sorry. So, but Hunter makes a lot more sense for him and is that security blanket and that guy over the middle versus the BTJ, best ball, we'll see, but I'd much rather have Hunter, and definitely from where you got them in the difference, 6 rounds difference. So it's going to be shaky. I love Travis Hunter moving forward. I am not a fan of Brian Thomas Jr. moving forward. Next game. And on the other side of Carolina, there's not really much to talk about. Bryce Young has to get better. That's it. So it's going to be shaky. I'm not recommending any buy lows or sell. Carolina, it's a wait and see approach. Let's wait for week 2. Let's see what happens. That was a really ugly, rough start. I know Chuba got in the end zone, but that was all he really did. Ted McMillan, I don't know. They need Jalen Coker back. That will help that offense a bit. Anyways, that's all I really want to say. I was disappointed. My start of the week was Jatavian Sanders. Hopefully they use him more moving forward. But yeah, it was an ugly game for Carolina. Next game, Detroit at Green Bay. Speaking of ugly games, my goodness, was that offense in that first game with the new offensive coordinator and their defense with the new defensive coordinator. Detroit got to get it in sync. That was terrible. The offensive coordinator for Detroit, the new one, he needs to get on the field next to Dan Campbell and feed off that energy and be down there talking to Goff, getting in his head, giving him the confidence. Too much talent on Detroit for it to look like that moving forward. If you can buy low on any of these players, specifically Jahmyr Gibbs, do it in a heartbeat. Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 receptions. We love that in PPR. He's one of the most talented running backs and fantasy players in football and NFL players. Would love to buy low on Gibbs. But they've got to clean that up. Meanwhile, on the other side, I know it's a fantasy show, but my goodness, how good is Micah Parsons? And fantasy related, that's going to really help Josh Jacobs in the run game. Jaden Reed, we were all, including myself, we were all way too low on him. He is the clear out-and-out wide receiver one on that team. But I think A.J. Brown would be a prime, perfect trade place. I'd hate it for my Lions, but I'd love it for fantasy. He would be a clear alpha wide receiver one on that team, and that team is going places. Jordan Love looked good, but that's about it for that side of the ball. Josh Jacobs is probably going to get a touchdown every game. It's not doing much in PPR purposes. There's a perfect example. Could I flip Jacobs for Gibbs? I would do it all day, every day. And maybe you can get that done after that game. They were in the same game. We'll see. But yeah, buy low on Jahmyr Gibbs all day. Next one, Miami at Indy. My goodness, Miami. Tyreek Hill needs to get traded. Go and buy low on Tyreek Hill just in case that happens. Sell high on Devon Achane. Please, you don't want any part of Miami's offensive end. You don't. Go and capitalize. Sell high on Devon Achane, however you say it. Sell high on him. Get out of there. Jalen Waddle has to be, I never own him. He has to be the most frustrating player in fantasy football. It's not even close. The guy gets hurt on every single play. He goes out, he pops back in, or he's missing a game. Cannot handle Jalen Waddle. Get out, get out, get out. Miami, that was a disgrace. And Tyreek will be vocal enough. He will get himself out of that team. It's a tough one because Mike McDaniels is completely on the hot seat. Him and Brian Dable are neck and neck in terms of being on the hot seat, but I think McDaniel, I don't see him as the Dolphins head coach moving forward. Next season could be fired as early as midseason. Tyreek Hill needs to go back to Kansas City, 100%. On the flip side, Indianapolis looked great. They look great. Daniel Jones, Andy made the right call. That was the call to make. He was great. His box score was a little tricky because he had the goal line and this and that. That's not going to happen every week. But Tyler Warren looked great. They were moving Jonathan Taylor out, kicking him out, which is Taylor isn't usually that great in PPR, but if they're doing that with him and I love it for Taylor moving forward. And Pittman's somebody I might sell high on. If you can go and flip Pittman for Tyreek Hill, I'd do it all day, every day. Just with the hopes that Tyreek gets traded. Next game, Cincinnati at Cleveland. Cleveland, you should have won this game. My goodness, you had 3 chances. I don't know what it is with Cincinnati, every week one of every game. But if you could buy low on any Bengal, this is just what they do. Buy low on any Cincinnati Bengal, especially Jamar Chase. But if you can buy low on T. Higgins, if you can buy low on Chase Brown, if you can buy low on Joe Burrow all day, every day, do that. It will get a lot better for them. So on the other side of the ball, Cleveland, I love Dylan Sampson. I loved him in the offseason. He was somebody I talked about in my bold predictions episode. He looked amazing. Joe Flacco, clear QB. He wasn't great necessarily, but he can throw the ball. And Cedric Tillman, love him. He's probably not on waivers, but add him. And Harold Fannin, I'd be careful there because you don't usually see a team that has 2 reliable tight ends. And Njoku's still there. I know Fannin had the better game, but I wouldn't be going crazy on adding Fannin in waivers. Next game, Pittsburgh at New York Jets. The second best game of the slate. It was an unbelievable game. Rodgers and Fields switched teams in the offseason. They were both balled out. I was really happy watching both of them. They were both incredible. Rodgers, 4 touchdowns. He looked in great shape. Again, another guy, one of these QBs that just looked in great shape, did a lot of work in the offseason. He was awesome. 4 touchdowns. Justin Fields looked incredible. Made me eat my words. I didn't say him on this podcast, but I've told people in my circle, my friends, I'm completely out on Garrett Wilson. I didn't take him anywhere this year. He looked good. Fields' accuracy was unbelievable. He's a fantasy beast. And my other take, Breece Hall, another guy in that Jets team. I know it's only week 1 and I don't want to overreact, but my goodness, Breece Hall looked explosive. Braylon Allen is going to be the goal line running back. If you're a Jets fan, I know you lost the game, but you got to be a little more excited. They need to add a wide receiver. They need a wide receiver. A.J. Brown could be a great addition to them, but they need a wide receiver outside of Wilson. He's a small dude, and I loved what I saw out of that team. Buy low go and add a Mason Taylor if he's on waivers. He's going to be their tight end. He had 1 target, 1 catch, but they're going to use him a lot more moving forward. And then Pittsburgh, back to Pittsburgh real quick. Calvin Austin, he's a waiver ad. We were wondering who the wide receiver 2 would be on Pittsburgh in the offseason after they traded away Pickens and added DK. DK Metcalf to me I wasn't into him. I don't want him. I wasn't interested in him. And I would probably sell high because Rodgers is going to spread the ball around. And I wasn't huge on Jalen Warren either. But, so I would dangle out those 2. I think Pittsburgh's going to be solid moving forward. That defense looked great. But I'm not really too excited about their receiving weapons. Calvin Austin, again, you can add him. He is the wide receiver 2 he got in the end zone. But I wouldn't go crazy. He wouldn't be like at the top of my priority list. Next one, San Francisco at Seattle. My goodness, San Francisco with those injuries. What is going on? Positives, Ricky Pearsall, again, absolute stud. He was one of my guys in the offseason. He's a stud. Unfortunate with Kittle, going to miss 3 to 5 weeks at least. You can pick up the tight end if you need him in Tongs. He's on every waiver imaginable. Nobody even knew who he was going into this game. He's the clear out-and-out tight end replacement. So, yeah, Christian McCaffrey, I would sell high. I'm getting out. Get out of the McCaffrey business, dude. He's not... Every caption, if you read anything about him, as long as he's healthy, guys, he has a degenerative knee issue. This isn't coming off of it. This is something that can flare up at any time. He already had a calf flare up that he dealt with all last season. That popped up. He's getting older. He's got so many miles on those tires. And I would sell high on Christian McCaffrey, 100%. Would I rather have McCaffrey or Gibbs moving forward? Gibbs 1,000 times over. If you can make that deal, which you probably can after that, I would do it. Okay, next up. Oh, and on the other side, Seattle, JSN is the clear out and out wide receiver 1. He is a reliable back end wide receiver 1, low end wide receiver 2 moving forward in PPR circles. Seattle, I couldn't have said it enough. I couldn't have been more out on Kenneth Walker. And a big reason is because I love Zach Charbonnet, and so does Seattle. He was getting a lot of work. Kenneth Walker, get out. I wait one more game, but even that, his value could even go lower because Charbonnet can get more opportunities, and Charbonnet he's just more powerful. He's more reliable at the goal line. I love Charbonnet moving forward, and I'm, again, Walker was one of the guys, if I had a top 5 list of guys that I was out on this offseason, Walker was definitely in it. Next one. Baltimore at Buffalo, the game of the season, possibly. And we got it in week 1. It was an absolutely incredible game. Oh my goodness, what a game. Baltimore, you blew that one, but it's okay. You'll bounce back. Zay Flowers, I was too low on him. He's going to be game script, but he's by far the clear out and out wide receiver 1 on that team. And nobody really wanted him because I know they run the ball a lot. But Zay Flowers is a stud. He made the Pro Bowl last season, and I wish I would have made some cheap offers for him in the offseason in some dynasty circles for sure. He's going to be great in games, in competitive games, but don't rely on him as like some sort of wide receiver 1 super stud. It's a running team first. Would love Baltimore again to add bigger weapon. Mark Andrews, 1 catch, which shows, here's the positive. If Isaiah Likely is on your waivers, go and snag him up. The move tight end, that's what they want. They need the big body out there. Andrews' days is a Mount Rushmore in terms of tight ends for Baltimore. No, those are done. 40. They put up 40 points. He had 1 target, 1 catch. You can't rely on Andrews. But I'd love Likely moving forward. Again, I'd love to see A.J. Brown, who could be a little reunion with Derrick Henry from his Tennessee days. Would love to see A.J. Brown pop over back to Baltimore. Buffalo on the other side. Man, Keon Coleman, nice stat line. Don't count on that every week. He's a sell high for me. Josh is going to spread the ball around. I like Palmer still moving forward. Shakir, my goodness, you can't really... He is a lot better NFL versus fantasy-wise. I know people think, oh, PPR, Shakir is not a reliable fantasy weapon. Coleman looked a lot better and was used more, but I would sell high on him all day, every day. And James Cook, who I was kind of low on in the offseason. He looked really good for missing a big chunk of the offseason. He looked really good against a really good defense, a really good team. And he's somebody I'm moving way up on moving forward this year. Okay. And now, let's see. The last game, last night's game, Minnesota at Chicago. My goodness. I am so out on Caleb Williams. Dude, stop caring so much about like being cool and your swagger. And I'm not trying to hate. It's just like, you see what he can. That first drive, he looked awesome. And then the rest of the game, I don't know. It was Ben Johnson's first game. They're going to go and have... Caleb misses a ton of throws that he shouldn't. And I don't understand what that's about. He's very frustrating, which makes me kind of I'm not really interested in any of the wide receiver weapons on Chicago. They're going to spread it out too much. And I'm just, I can't, I don't know. Adunze looks great when they go to him, but again, it's sloppy. Swift looked good, and I'm not sure why it was working. I'm not sure why Chicago went away from that. Swift looked good. He was surprising. He's somebody I'm interested in a little bit moving forward, but again, I don't know. On the other side of the ball, again, my guy, Jordan Mason, 100% looked way better than Aaron Jones. And he is going to be a beast moving forward on that team. It was awesome to see McCarthy do that comeback. He couldn't have looked worse for 3/4 of football. He was lost out there. Love to see it, the bounce back in him in that fight. Again, he was one of my guys that I pounded the table for in the offseason. Kevin O'Connell's an amazing coach. The way that they turned that around, it was just awesome. And I think Jordan Addison, who built a lot of rapport with McCarthy in the offseason while Jefferson missed all those reps with a hamstring injury, Addison's going to be nice. He's going to be a really nice piece when he comes back. McCarthy moving forward, man. He struggled with this at U of M, and he's got a little bit of mental fragility. But what a confidence boost. They're going to be exciting to see moving forward. Don't worry at all about Justin Jefferson. He got in the end zone. He'll have bigger days. And yeah, I'm excited. So that wraps up pretty much my week 1. Sorry if it was too long. You can fast forward. I'll put little things in there. I'm trying to be fast. And guys, again, I'll have graphics. This isn't going to be my thing. I'm working on it. Okay, but we'll get there, and I'll have graphics, and it'll speed up and this and that, but just bear with me until then. All right, love you guys. Peace.